Welcome to KGXT, Gen X Talks podcast, live from Central California.
Making plans with the boys. I'm gonna hit the town. Yeah, I'm gonna make some noise. I'll push past the pain and my wounded pride. I'm gonna live it up. Yeah, stay out all night. But sure, I've had some better times. And I can't count.
Chicka, 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 bum, 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 chicka, chicka, bum, bum, bum. I can't tell what's going on. It looks like, I can't tell if they can hear us. It looks like the pod track is moving up and down. It looks like Streamlabs is moving side to side. Let's see if we get a count. Oh, yeah. It's called the test widget. The test widget. That's moving side to side also, which means the numbers are ticking away. And I think the butt is upon us. I'm not sure if that's working or not. I guess you can get an answer for us there. Your Majesty, the Queen.
Hello.
If you can figure out if someone's paying attention, you're looking glorious this morning.
Thank you so much.
It is 10 o'clock Los Angeles time. We're broadcasting for the very last time from the KGXT studios, 200 feet below occupied California. Are you crying?
A little bit.
Don't worry, honey. When we get to Nevada, I'll dig you a whole 200 feet and we can go do the podcast from down there.
Okay.
Not for long. Change is coming. We'll be broadcasting from the Loop Studios in Nevada very, very, very soon. I'm here with my current wife in the land.
Current wife.
You like how I said that?
Current wife.
Yeah, I'm here with my current. Are you not my current wife?
Yes.
Okay, then
The
what's the
best
problem?
wife you've ever had.
What's the problem saying that then?
There isn't.
You just don't like that it means that, well, there could be someone else in the future. It's funny how women don't. They see that side of it. You say,
You know
hi.
what? It works both ways, big boy.
I'm here with my current wife, and that should mean great. That's the current wife. You're married.
I'm winning.
All women go is, wait a minute, current wife? What do you mean? Who's next? Oh, guess you better keep on your toes. So I'm here broadcasting from the KHE studios with my current wife, as they say, in the land of big. It's going to be hot today. We have a lot of information, a lot of updates, a lot of stuff going on, a lot of wherefores and what have yous, man. I want to start with something near and dear to men's hearts.
Oh, really?
And it's not food, so it's...
Sex.
There you go. I saw a woman, I read, I heard.
I was going to go, you saw a woman?
No, this story isn't visual. It's just talk. She got, in the world of sex, a little backdoor action, she got paid $19,000.
First of all, who paid her?
I don't know. I don't.
didn't say?
Maybe. I mean, George paid this woman $19,000 for some little backdoor action, and I'm thinking $19,000. I mean, I'm looking at that in my head, and I'm going, wouldn't she be happy with $19,000 for backdoor?
I'd be happy with a warning. First of all, and I don't know, $19,000 sounds a little low.
Well, maybe that was per incident. Maybe it wasn't just for that wasn't just a yearly pass with her. I don't know. I just think
yearly pass.
I don't know. It didn't say whether that was a one-time thing. I don't know. I'm not tuned into that side of OnlyFans and the industry. I don't know what they get. I just thought it was
now it's OnlyFans.
I don't know. I just know that it was that's if you do that and you get paid $19,000, it's like you do that 3 times, you got yourself a pickup truck.
Nice.
Just saying.
I'll consider it.
If you ever want to buy me a pickup truck,
Wait. I take it.
Yeah.
But I buy you a pickup truck.
If you want to buy me a pickup truck, I'll connect you with George. To get you squared away.
Wow.
I knew that was heavy on your heart. How am I going to pay for a pickup truck? I got it.
I don't know. I'm changing the subject here. You know what? This week, you had one job. One job while Briggs was away.
I've done so many jobs this week. What are you talking about?
I asked you to take out the blue and green trash cans to the street. Blue and green.
Okay, there's a little bit of discrepancy there.
No, there isn't. There's no discrepancy between color. I didn't say recycling and
I don't
grass.
know. I think
I said blue and green.
Perhaps you just said take the trash cans out.
Nope, didn't.
And I guessed.
Are you colorblind?
Maybe I guessed the wrong 2 colors. There's a lot going on in the old Deuterino's mind right now. There's a lot of things, a lot of facets, a lot of ins and outs, a lot of wherefores and what have you.
And then you doubled down when you got these 2 wrong ones to the street.
Yeah.
And you put them backwards.
Okay, listen, this is the first time. We have lived in this house 20-some years. I have never heard that the trash cans have to face a certain direction. What for? When the trash can grabs it with that big mechanical arm and tosses it up over, the lid opens. Who cares which way? The lid's hanging straight down.
You know what's even more stupid on that subject that you just said?
What?
Is that there is instructions on top of the lid which way to face it to the street.
Like I'm going to read a paragraph on a trash can.
You know what this says? This says that you lack the effort of putting it to the street.
I did it.
And how many times people know that you have, there's just a few times that you've done
You
this.
know what? I'm going to walk down the street and I'm going to see how many trash cans are all faced the way you say.
They will be.
They're not.
There are. All of them are.
There's guys that just bring them out there.
You're
Because
fired. You're fired.
this is dumb. I'm telling you, the way the mechanical arm grabs it and shakes it straight down like a ketchup bottle, who cares which way the lid opens? It's going to be hanging straight down when the trash comes out. What does it matter which side it's on? Is this a geographical thing? Got to be facing north. Got to be the lid must be facing north.
I'm sure it has something to do with dumping the trash, that it's not going to like go over the edge of the trash.
I'm sure that whole thing
But
is.
you know what? That's beside the point. It was the fact that you put out the wrong trash cans this week, so one of them didn't get emptied.
Okay.
Unbelievable.
Again, we're going back to colors. I mean, I didn't. So I
think
got
you're
the wrong.
colorblind.
I'm not colorblind. I think you just said put out the trash
Nope.
cans.
I said blue and green. I even tell Briggs the same
You know-
thing. Blue and green.
You know why I took out the heavy one? Because it needed to be dumped. I was thinking of you, thinking, wow.
Guess which one didn't get dumped?
I don't know. Whatever one I didn't take. I don't know. So listen, KGXT Radio, that's what people listen on right now. If they're listening live, it is Thursday morning at 10 a.m. So they're listening live. If you're listening to this afterwards, you're listening to the replay or the broadcast podcast, but you're not listening to it live. KGXT Radio.
Yes.
Well,
It's kind of like my little baby.
it's taken some hits lately.
Ouch.
You know, it didn't do well when we got in there a few weeks ago and saw all the things that were wrong with it.
Yeah.
And we've been making corrections.
Yes.
I'm kind of surprised Josh, when he heard that we were upset with how things, I'm surprised he didn't just spend like some free time and go in there and fix all the album covers and go, okay, it's all right. Sorry about that. It's fixed. But he didn't. Or if he did, it hasn't finished it yet.
I don't know how we'd see it, but maybe we
All
would.
the album covers would be fixed.
It takes a while. It takes a while.
Well,
I'm coming to Josh's defense. It takes a
He
while to do
hasn't
that.
said, I'm in the process. He hasn't said it. He's kind of like sitting in the corner going, I hope nobody gets mad at me for this. Anyway, the other one is that, so we've taken some hits on that. We've been reestablishing ourselves, getting the tunes right. I'm through
We've
the song
been listening
about.
to it, and it's been pretty good so far.
We've been listening to it religiously, trying to figure out if the order of songs flows right. We've been doing that.
Yeah.
Getting some good feedback from some people on it
Good.
too. So things are moving along there. But then you found out that when you were poking around, you actually got into the studio part of the radio station.
I did.
And started poking around. You were asking me questions I don't know the answers to. One of them was that we could have a news feed come up like every hour on the hour. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes.
I didn't dig too deep. I want to, but I'm like, when that happens, I'm afraid to push buttons and then go, oh, shoot.
Well,
Like what
because
I
we're
get
still
into.
suffering from you pushing buttons about the store issues
Excuse me?
Facebook and
me?
we're still suffering from you fucking up pushing buttons 2 years ago on the store. We're still stuck in that mess now.
Shouldn't have let me have it.
No, we should not have at all.
You wanted me to tackle that, so.
Yeah, well, I didn't think you were going to put a blindfold on and just bang on the keys like a gorilla, and you did.
Okay, let's continue on.
So the news thing, we can figure out, it looks like you can have a feed that comes in and you can just tie into the feed and the radio station will click over to whatever news feed is going. But there has to be a way to time it. You wouldn't just want to have the radio station click over in the middle of someone talking or in the middle of a commercial. You have to tie it into a news feed that is, hey, welcome to whatever, and it's the beginning.
That's what I don't know. I don't know how that
Right. So I did contact, because we couldn't do Fox News or CNN. They'd probably charge a ton to do it. But News Nation is coming up. They're a new, relatively new outfit. They're coming on strong. And because of my relationship with Chris Cuomo, I had texted him the other day and said, hey, I got an idea on that. He called back in the live stream. I had to put the live stream on hold for a second. But I told him what we're thinking about doing. He was very excited. He was on board. If there's a way to do that with News Nation, so I'm not going to charge them. Don't charge me. I won't charge you. Just let's put it on there.
That's the only thing I didn't dig deep enough to see if they're recommending news things. Like, that's the other thing, is because we're using this service, are they going to let us pick from their news thing?
I think they do let you pick whatever you want, but I don't know how to set up the RSS feed.
We will have to see.
But even if News Nation didn't work out, Chris had said, we'll figure out something for his show, because he does a news recap. Like, hey, he does like, I think 3 minutes of here's what I'm going to talk about.
That's cool.
And if he does that,
kind of a commercial,
right? And then it goes into his intro. I think we could use that and just do a little thing there. That might give us, a little more credibility that we're tied into somebody bigger than us too.
For sure.
As long as I know Chris still leans left, I know he's not ashamed of being a liberal or a Democrat. I know that, but he's been so good at staying in the middle in his observations and being fair about it that I'm still with him. I'm like, okay, I'm with you, dude. I don't agree with, he knows I don't agree with his stuff, and he doesn't agree with all mine. But we have a mutual respect, and we're staying in the middle on how we look at things. I think that's huge, and I'd love to do that. Because if you go with Fox, it's very Trump-leaning. If you go with CNN, it's very left-leaning. It's like, God, can't we just find something where people look at things more objectively?
Right.
And I'm happy with where he's at. So letting you guys know that that's on the drawing board. I let him know. I said, we're ramping everything up. Don't judge the station right now. It's a mess. It doesn't look right. It doesn't flow right. But we're going to also be doing that Art Bell George Norrie thing late nights, having just an hour or two radio call-in stuff like, hey, what do you think about UFOs out at
So you're going to spend one late night doing that?
Once a week. I think we should do
Once a week?
Once a week we should do a late night.
What's this we stuff?
Well, I was going to ask you to be my producer, help out or something.
You can
listen. You're up at 2 a.m. reading your book anyway.
Not by choice.
No, not by choice at all. So
you can go into your little office of a studio in Minden, and I can have the bed and sleep while you go.
Wow, do whatever.
Do UFO stories or whatever.
Little Plant 42 in Palmdale. For those of you that know, we're going out there to Area 51. For those of you that know, there's some China Lake stuff that goes on. There's all sorts of things you can talk about like that. And George Norrie, the Art Bell vibe, those of you that remember that, they started out small and grew big. I think it'd be fun to do that. Plus there's conspiracy guys in Nevada. We just got to look them up and
I'll let
talk
you
to them.
play with your friends.
You let me play with my friends?
Yeah,
okay.
I'll let you do that.
Just order me a pizza and leave me alone.
I'll put you in the office
and lock it from the outside where I can't get out.
Have a good time. Just be quiet.
So I expressed that stuff to Chris, and he was excited about that. He thought, but it's going to take 12 to 18 months to really refine this and get it where it needs to be. But, there's always been two people that have been heavily behind the radio station, like this is going to be big someday. And now I'm starting to believe it. One of them was you. You always said, if you ever do this right, if you ever set it up and you maintain it and you get everything where you want it to be, this is going to be a huge asset to Gen X Talks. You might even get some advertising money where we could do other things with people in person. It can sponsor some of our events that we like to do.
Yeah, and if social media ever crumbled or got to the point where we didn't want to participate in it, God forbid, there's always that.
Yeah.
I always thought that. The other person you missed one was Two Bear, because Two Bear's the one that suggested KGXT.
Okay, Two Bear had just threw it out there. He was drinking one night, like, hey, get a radio station.
Hey, kudos to him for even thinking about it.
Okay, so that's not really putting.
I love you, Two Bear.
That's not like putting a tattoo on your ass. You're just the guy who says, hey, you should put a tattoo on your ass.
Oh, well.
You're not the guy who actually did it. Okay, there's a difference there. The other person, other than you, it's not Two Bear. The other person who was like,
would you just say not Two Bear?
Yeah, not Two Bear.
Wow.
Two Bear had the idea and moved on. That's it. But the two people that have been behind this saying, every now and then drops a little bombshell and goes, hey, remember, this could be big as you and Loud One.
Yes, he's always been.
Loud One was one of the guys who's like, dude, he kind of was like, I want in on this before it gets really good. Let me buy stock in this because it's going to be, and it hasn't been yet, but we're getting there. Letting you guys know that there's some stuff on the horizon. A lot of really good interviews are getting set up. And they'll go on the Gen X Talks website under the interviews page on Spotify. But you get to hear them live and unedited on the radio.
That'll be really fun.
Which is good, too.
Yeah.
So, since you're going to make fun of everybody and talk to me about the fat guy page, let me just get to one thing. You always talk about my weight loss. I don't know where I'm at with weight.
Nope, we don't know because I took the scale up north. I did that on purpose.
Yeah, where is the scale?
In the Loop.
And where am I?
Here in Cali.
So I'm nowhere near the scale.
Nope.
All right.
So we have no idea.
We have no idea how much weight I'm losing, but I am staying on track with everything I've been doing.
And how you've been feeling. Tell people, how are you feeling? Literally.
I am feeling much better. The other day I woke up for the first time like spry. I felt like, all right, let's go do something. I wasn't aching getting out of bed going, oh, another day. No, I got up saying, all right, where's my boots?
Good.
That's a unique feeling that I haven't had in a long time. Another one is my clothes are fitting super loose.
Yeah, we had to talk about that. But all your clothes, your smaller size clothes are up and mending.
Up and mending with the scale.
So we don't know. I'm going to look for those.
No, we don't. But I know that I was always wearing 6s and 7 shirts. In fact, I was pushing the envelope on 7s for a while. Got back down to 6s. And now my 6s are all super big. Like you put really a 5 on me the other day and you said it looked big.
It was loose. I think you're almost to a 4, which would be great.
We'll find out. But here's something that nobody knows. Well, if they visited the Fat Guy page, I actually took a picture of this. But not many people know where the Fat Guy page is and they don't follow along. But there's some that do.
Let them search for it.
The Dodge Daytona truck that I sold to Briggs, I have not been able to drive that for 4 years.
That is correct.
Even with the seat all the way back, the steering wheel all the way up, it got to a point where the steering wheel was rubbing on my stomach.
Yeah.
And to where I can't drive it.
And you were uncomfortable.
No, I could. Physically, I can't be having the steering wheel drag across my stomach every time I turn a corner.
Right.
So I quit driving it. And Briggs has got my truck in Nevada hauling a big trailer load up. And he's on his way back. We'll get to that in a second. But I had to go do something for you the other day, and I thought, well, I could take the Yukon because I know I fit in that. But I wonder if I can fit in this truck because it's been 4 years.
Yeah.
I got in it, put the seat back, put the steering wheel up, and I actually had the distance of 3 fingers, 3 side-by-side fingers, like you're measuring a 3-finger shot of whiskey or a 3-finger joint. I had that distance between without sucking in. No.
Just sitting there.
Just sitting there, 3 fingers between my stomach. So that's whatever distance this is, 2 inches or whatever.
That's a win.
It's life's little victories. But yeah, it's true. I got in my Dodge and I was able to drive it. It's like, all right. The seatbelt
is another story.
Was tight, but
that's okay.
I did click it in there, but I couldn't. It's been even longer since I could wear the seatbelt. I couldn't even wear the seatbelt when I was driving.
That's
now
good.
I'm in there. Seatbelt work. So yeah,
that's awesome.
Anyway, before we go too far and get into the kid updates stuff, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I would like to submit to you something that many men struggle with. And
you had to bring this up now.
It's not weight loss. It isn't the need for Viagra. No, it's much worse. It's your chicks. It's your women. And I've caught my wife doing something live. Usually I think about something an hour or two later and I go, oh man, you know what I should have said? I should have stopped her right there in the middle of her story. And I always forget. But 2 times recently, I've caught you in the middle of it. I'm going to submit this to the jury for a vote to see if I'm right on this, to see if they agree with me that there's something wrong with you.
I hope there's a lot of ladies listening.
Because you're cheating in here. No, the ladies are going to turn down their radios so their husbands don't hear. So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'm going to submit to you 2 stories. Number 1, when I go to my wife and I say, hey, listen to the song playing on the radio. What's the name of this band? She thinks about it and she thinks about it and she goes, now, I want to say 38 Special, but I don't think that's right.
What's wrong with that?
Because you're guessing without really guessing.
I'm thinking out loud.
Okay, so if I stay quiet and just stare at you, you go, so I'm thinking 38 special.
But I'm not sure.
Right, so if I say, yes.
Then keep your mouth shut.
If I say, yes, it is 38 special, you go, see, I got it. No,
then keep your mouth shut.
And if I say, no, it's not 38 special, you go, yeah, I didn't think so. I didn't think that. That's not my guess.
Oh, my
I didn't think
gosh.
so. You're like getting a free pass because then the next one, you could say, now I'm thinking Night Ranger, but I don't think so.
You know
You
what?
could just go through, listen, you could just go through all of the bands with that free guess. By all you have to say is, well, I don't think I'm right. So now I've learned to just stare at you and go, well, let me know when you've got an answer because I'm
Good.
no longer falling for that.
Good.
That's one.
I can't.
The other one you do, and you did
here
this
we go.
last night, is we're talking about replying to someone in an email. Someone sent us something.
Yeah, that's right.
And you said, you should reply in an email. And I said, well, I don't have to worry about that. This person sent you an email.
Right.
And I said, so clearly you should reply. And here's what she said. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this is story number 2. She looked at me, she goes, I did reply. Well, I will reply. You should be the one to do it. And I caught you right there. So wait. You went from I did reply, I will reply. You know what? You're really the one who should do it. You went from saying I told you should do it, and within 3 short sentences, you turned it around. Now I have to do it.
Well, I think you should say a thank you. I think you should come up from behind me and do an email and say,
As much as I love it coming up behind
oh, my goodness.
you. Listen, but you can't say it like that. I did reply. Well, I will reply. But you're really the one who should do it. And you moved on.
Follow along.
We're back
Keep
to
up.
me. We're back to me being in trouble again if I don't reply.
Keep up, big boy.
I'm just, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I submit to you those 2 stories
I'm keeping
that
you on
my
your
wife
toes.
is batshit crazy and I don't like the manipulation. I don't appreciate it. She's preying on the fact that I'm dumb. And she knows that. And I'm just now catching on after 20 some years.
I know you're dumb.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm catching on. Geigen is catching on. And that's a pull from a movie that no one remembers with Tom Selleck from the 80s.
I don't know.
No,
what
you
it is.
don't.
Okay, good.
Anyway.
It's probably that baseball movie or something.
It was.
You're
How
welcome.
did you know that?
Because I know what movies you watch.
Oh, my God.
I forgot the name of it right now.
Wasn't it Mr. Baseball?
Oh, yeah, that.
Yeah.
But I said it was a
Baseball movie, yeah.
baseball movie.
He just spends most of the movie
Japan or-
not understanding Japanese. And
See?
they call him Geigen because I guess he's American. He goes, Geigen's catching on, so.
Pretty good,
He's
huh?
catching on to Japanese. I'm catching on to
I
you.
am smarter.
Geigen catching on.
I'm smart.
Dumb guy catching on.
I know exactly the movies you watch. Oh, my gosh.
Anyway, so what else is going on in the world? What else we got to talk about here?
We
got
are
stuff.
prepping for the GXT barbecue.
Yeah, that's
That's
coming
coming
along.
up faster than we think. I mean, I think when we hit Minden, I'm really going to have to hit the
Yep.
ground running. But
Yep.
it's coming together thanks to Christine Matlock,
Yeah,
who's married to
Ben Matlock.
Never
Lost a case. Little Miss Hot and Nerdy, as we
She
call
has
her.
some connections, which I'm really appreciative for.
I did step on my dick once with her already, and I got to tell you how.
Ouch. I bet you that hurt.
It did a little bit.
Okay.
And I made a rule with Christine. We called because she was going down the road of getting things set, calling for getting estimates and getting things put together.
which is a very appreciative.
And she's supposed to. This is like what she signed on for, and we're working together on this. But then she calls up. She goes, "Okay, I think I've got the food figured out. It's going to be $1,200, and we're going to need this and this and this." And I realized I was assigning that to you, and St. Donna and Sahara H. So I had to go. Hold up. And now she's like, "Well, I've already done some work on this, and I know. I got to backtrack." So we called her. Said, "Okay, look, I apologize. Don't do the food. I'm giving that to genx Mom, St. Donna, and Sahara H. Let them figure out what they're doing. Let them do that." And there's a reason for that. And she was okay with it. But I said, from now on, whenever you and I are going to do an event, the first thing we're going to do is figure out everything needed. And then we're going to figure out who we're assigning to do what. That way, nobody's doubling up. So I did apologize to her for that. But here's the reason why. And this is nothing against you, nothing against St. Donna or Christine Matlock. But if I let her buy all the food and the plates and the cups and the sodas and everything and go, "Here it is, genx Mom and St. Donna," serve it to everybody. You guys as women, well, I wouldn't have bought those buns. I wonder where she got these. This hamburger meat, they have different hamburger meat at Costco. Oh my God, that's just what you girls do. Even the best of you. So you do this shit. So so I look, Christine, just let me get them to do it, because then there's not going to be a problem. If stuff gets fucked up, I know who to blame, and just let those girls do that job. She was fine with that, but I still have to deal. Christine's a woman. She's going to do the same thing. You guys are going to prepare it all, and she's going to come to me during the barbecue and go, well, I would have bought different plates. It's just what women do.
I was thinking about that because that all happened like yesterday or whatever.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind having her do it. I just would like her to talk to me about it because I have some ideas and stuff.
Not going to get involved in that back and forth. I'm assigning you and St. Donna and Sahara H. You guys figure out.
Does Sahara know?
No, I didn't tell her yet. Well, she volunteered to be part of it when she arrived, so I'm kind of throwing her in as an anchor at the end.
Because I have Mary also help. I mean, I've got a few.
And what we do is we go in and say, here's how many people we think, how many burgers and dogs you want for each person. Let's figure it out as the same thing you've done.
I've done it multiple.
You've done so many times over the 20 years. We've done things with 200 people here. So I just know that you know how to do it and you'll get it done, and you kind of know, I mean, you've been down that road. You guys handle it, and we'll all deal with whatever happens. We're fine with it.
Okay.
So that's one. And but I'm going to assign things with Christine. We'll figure things out in advance. We'll divide things up in advance. That way she's not going down the road of doing a lot of work and then me saying, oh, we already got that handled.
Right. I understand.
Which she didn't do a ton on it, so I'm okay, but I felt really bad about even having the conversation.
Right.
Because she's very into it and she's very good at what she's doing.
Yeah. Oh, I appreciate it. She's taking a big load off me.
Oh, a ton. She's all over it. So we've got everything figured out. We got the restrooms and sinks figured out. We have security for we're locking up the entire house except for the sliding glass door in the back, which will have security at. The side gate will be locked. The dirt driveway down the side that he's got that road, we'll use that as in and out. That'll be how people come and go. We have the Big Mike Perkins has got it figured out for where we're going for cars and not parking everybody in front of his house. There's a lot. The only thing we didn't figure out.
What's that?
Music.
What about it?
We didn't figure out how to play music all over the yard yet and still make it sound good. Now here, I know how to do it. I got really good Polk audio speakers out back in JBLs that broadcast far without being loud. We still got to work that out. But other than that, I think we're good.
I'm sure we'll figure that out.
That's a major concern, honey. We may have to call in some consultation, guys.
Goodness.
So Friday got a staff dinner. Saturday's a big hangout, and we're doing the show from the Minden Studios.
Nope, the Foxhole.
The Foxhole. We're doing the show, the Bottom of the Glass show from the Foxhole, the Saturday before the big event.
You and your buddies.
Me and my buddies.
Yeah, I don't have to participate at all.
No, not at all. And the thing is that there's going to be people waiting in town that Saturday. Chef John, what, are you just going to put him in a hotel all Saturday and wait for him?
He can come over and be a live studio audience.
And then Iceman from Botfish?
He's going to be one of the people on the mics.
And see, the thing is, you end up getting like 7, 8, 9 people that are just sitting in campgrounds or hotel rooms like Scotty. What if Cigar Scotty brings his trailer over? Is he just going to sit in the RV park all Saturday? No, we want to have him around. But now you're talking about 2 events, One's going to have, 100 people, but the day before is going to have 30. So we're just, we got to be careful. We got to talk to Sun Valley Fox and St. Donna, get their permission on people we're bringing in. And it'll work, but we just have to be very conscious of, we don't want to overstay our welcome. Yeah,
and you don't want a whole lot of people there during the live stream. It gets a little too much.
Well, right. And that's why I said, even if we have that many people, and Sun Valley Fox actually had this idea. It's like, well, he didn't care if we were bringing over a lot of people, if we knew them, if they were friends.
Right.
He goes, then just rotate him out, put him out on the back deck.
Yeah.
Have him go have a cigar and a whiskey out on the back deck. We'll rotate him in and out because you can't have 30 people on the microphone anyway. So there's a little logistics to get figured out.
I'm laughing because I just thought of something. My brother's garage has that back door that goes out to the patio area, the backyard. Yeah. It'd be funny if somebody knocks at the door, kind of like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and they come walking in.
Oh, who's this? Walk over the door. Well, hello there.
Yes, and you invite them in. That would be so funny.
Yeah.
my
So we
gosh.
got, I mean, if you just think about the people that are coming right now, I can think of 25 people right off the bat that are coming
That's a lot.
just to be, and we have, even before you sell one ticket, which tickets are now selling, but we don't, before you sell anything yet, 25 people.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're just keeping an eye on that. I do want to bitch about something, technology, before we get going too far. I am really getting tired of Google recommending stupid shit to me.
Because you're on your phone all the time.
When I'm on Facebook now, it recommends, would you like to join the group of girls that like fat guys?
Oh my
Like, no, I don't want to join that group, the girls that like fat guy page. But Google specifically now is showing me, when you scroll through an article and it's got the same ad like every third paragraph so you can see it. It's a picture of like 5 really fat women in the same bathing suit, and their stomachs are really super fat. Then it shows them getting thinner. It's diet.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, okay, there is no reason for Google to be showing me these fat women dieting pages. I have never once clicked on a diet commercial, a diet ad, a diet aid or supplement. I've never said it out loud in front of Alexa here.
Okay. If
So
you're
why-
not clicking on diet pictures, then you must be clicking on chubby fat girls.
What are you saying? What are
That's what you must be doing.
That is not true. I'm not doing that either. I promised you I'd never do that again.
When last week?
Yesterday. I don't know why it's doing that. It's like, it's got to be showing me the fat
You like
chicks.
curvy girls.
It's got to be showing me the fat chick or the diet. It's pick, because that's all it is.
You're not looking at diet.
That's what I'm
pictures.
trying to
no,
say.
No, you're not.
All right, whatever.
So there's your answer.
Never mind. I've been clicking on diet supplements. That's my problem.
Lie. That's not how that's working.
So speaking of St. Donna and her generosity, I want to remind you something. I had written this down. It was so funny.
Oh my goodness.
This is hilarious. I can feel the Sun Valley Fox inching his chair away from her so he doesn't get smacked in the head. But it was
He
funny.
probably just shook his head.
He did.
Yeah.
And it was one of my first introductions to, I don't know whether you would say she's not all there or she's just not paying attention to me. I think she doesn't pay attention to me. I think Donna is like all women and she just enters the conversation when she wants to because
We all just smile and nod our heads.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
But in this particular case, you and I and the Sun Valley Fox and St. Donna were talking about moving out of the Southern California area. We're like, we're going to miss our friends and some family, some stuff in the house. We got to move on. And because we're leaving people that are local. I said, yeah, we got staff down there too.
Right.
And of course, Trippy Pineapples in Orange County. But the idea, and I remember saying at the end, I kind of had a little bit of a breath and I went, I'm really going to miss Low Torque. And she goes, why? Where's he going? And we all froze. I'm like, we've just been talking for 10 minutes about
we're leaving.
that we're leaving and moving. And now I just finished with, man, I'm really going to miss Low Torque. She was concerned. She had genuine concern. She goes, why?
What's
where's
happening?
Where's he going? I was like, well, he's not. I'm going. I'm moving. She, oh, you're moving. Yeah. And at first I thought, okay, is this a dingy moment? Then I realized she's not listening. She wasn't listening to me. Now, I think if you had to pick between the two, would you rather be kind of a little bit airheadish or would you rather be accused of being rude? I think she's being rude. I don't think she's listening to me.
That's where you went with that one.
She's being rude. I think she owes me an apology. And by apology, I mean sandwich because I'm hungry. But if I move up there, she can make me a sandwich.
Okay.
I'm just saying she said that. And I was just like, you're not listening to me, are you?
Can we touch on a little bit of news? I have a question for you.
You have a question about the news. I will try to answer.
Yeah. Trump was signing an executive order this morning, like right before we got on, about killing the electric vehicle mandate in California. Can he actually do that? Can you explain that to me a little bit?
Well, okay. Let's talk about what you're talking about is California. Gavin Newsom has said no more gas-powered vehicles in the state of California, I think by 2035.
Something like that, yeah.
And it started out as an executive order.
Okay.
So executive orders can be overridden by the next governor. They can be overridden by the president. But that was the beginning of it, was his executive order. Now, what's happened since then in the state of California is California Air Resources Board. They're the ones who decide all the smog activity, and they pass their own regulations, which are law.
In the state
In the state of California, right.
Okay.
So they have set up zero emissions by 2035, which means you can't have any emissions, so you can't have a gas-powered vehicle.
What about people coming in with a gas-powered vehicle?
I don't know the details of the rule, but no more can be sold here.
Okay.
So the California Resources Board just said, well, we're having no emissions. So either you find out a way to make your gasoline-powered car have zero emissions out the tailpipe, or you don't get to sell it and drive it here. So essentially, they're backing up Newsom. And there have been laws that have been passed by the legislature. None of them, I don't think, ever came out and said gasoline cars are outlawed. None of them said that. The ones that I've read, there's been 3, and they all say, well, you have to buy an electric vehicle with our initiative, our incentive program. It's like, well, it's like they're forcing you to buy an electric vehicle by saying every vehicle sold in the state of California from 2035 on has to have a certificate of electric vehicle initiative money package, compensation package with it. It's like, okay, so what are you saying? Well, we're going to give you a coupon to buy an electric vehicle. Well, is the coupon good for a gas vehicle? No, it's only good for an electric vehicle.
Okay.
So can I buy a gas vehicle? You can only buy a gas vehicle if you can use a coupon. But you just said I can't use the coupon. No, you can't. So I have to buy.
One.
See, you see how they're wording this? There's things they're doing, and I'm probably messing up the verbiage on that.
He put that initiative in.
So he put it in, and the state has been backing him up. Regulations have been in place now to cause it to be true. Even if you overturn the executive order, there's now legislation and CARB regulations in place. You can't just undo. So are they not
going to let you register a gas?
They're trying to make it where new car dealerships can only sell electric vehicles.
Okay, well, that's fine. But what about like people that have older cars?
Well, there's new regulations on the horizon phasing those out. They want to make it in California. They want to make it to where you can only drive a gas-powered vehicle on Sunday in a parade. That's it. That's where they're going. So now you ask about the executive order. Now, states do have a certain amount of autonomy as a state inside of the union. In other words, if the state says if you're convicted of a crime, you get this certain crime, you get 20 years in jail. Every state must comply, 20 years in jail. If California said we're only giving 10 years in jail, state would come and say no, or the government would come and say no. The federal law says 20. You can't go under us. Now, could California say, well, we're going to put people in jail for 30 years for that crime? Fine. The government doesn't care. The government's like, well, look, we said that crime is 20 years in jail. You want to go 30, go ahead. You can do more than us, but you better well do the minimum, which is where we're at with emissions right now. Federal government has emission standard for tailpipes on cars and trucks. California just goes, we're going to go way beyond that. Government says, we don't care. As long as you meet the minimum requirements, you can be as tough on your people as you want. Now it brings us to your question.
Okay.
Because an executive order signed by Trump is actually going backwards. And what it's essentially saying, he's undoing the vehicle mandate. And this is a long executive order that comes down to saying anyone in the United States can own a gas-powered vehicle.
Okay.
And if you're going to own it in the United States and register it in the United States and drive it in the United States, you have to at least meet the minimum federal smog standards in the United States. Now, that goes against, that undermines everything Newsom just did. He's like, well, you can't do it here. So, in theory, the beginning of it is he couldn't, this executive order is not going to go very far, or it's going to be head-to-head met in court. However, if he could get it passed, if his executive order passes the House as a bill, passes the Senate as a bill, and he signs it into law, then there's nothing Gavin Newsom can do. But I don't know if that's going to work. Now, I have not heard this yet. So, ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to something that's a brand new thought. Since 1973, this is one of my first brand new thoughts.
I thought I heard a pop.
You did. Right out of my ass. Head
There
came
we
out
go.
of my ass.
I thought so.
Here's how I think this angle would play out, because there's more and more restrictions from New York and California and Illinois that people are grumbling in the direction of, we're sticking with the federal law. You are infringing on my right to pursue happiness. And let me, the Declaration of Independence spelled it out. It says, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. They are endowed by their creator with certain rights. Among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And that fundamental thought is carried out through the Constitution.
Okay.
I think the 14th Amendment is a big proponent of that. You have the right to pursue happiness and liberty. Well, you're restricting my happiness and my liberty
Choice.
and the choices of my life by telling me I can't own a gas-powered vehicle in this particular state when federal law says I can. So even if Trump didn't get a law passed, I'm thinking that they've now gone so far they've gone so far above and beyond. California is going to lose constitutionally on, you've now infringed on people's rights, their fundamental rights for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. They can't even own the car that everybody else can own in Arizona, Nevada, Colorado. This is bullshit. You can only go so far protecting the state, protecting the environment, protecting the good of the people before that infringes on individual liberties.
I agree.
And I haven't heard anybody say this. This didn't come across on Brett
It'll
Baer
go to
didn't
the
say
Supreme
this.
Court, won't it?
I think this angle I'm describing might at some point be picked up by lawyers and it'll work its way through the Federal Circuit Court of Appeals, but end up in the Supreme Court. I really think you could make a case that Newsom's, the things he's done, absolutely infringe on your personal, private, constitutional liberties. I think they're at a point now, it's gone so far that case can be made, and I think they could do something. If Trump doesn't make it a law, they could pass a law saying you got to do this, and then there's nothing Gavin Newsom can do. It's over. But Trump's executive order versus his executive order, and the fact that California has so many regulations in place that you can't challenge. That's one of the problems in California. CARB, the California Air Resources Board, once they pass regulations, they don't have to get regulations signed off by the people or the legislature. There is a committee that signs off, and it's done. Once they say it, it's over. Newsom signs it, and it's solid, even though it's not a law that went through legislature.
All right, well, here's a side note. What happens to trucks that are coming in and out and going to the ports?
They already stop them. As of right now, if you are not California compliant, they don't care if you're coming in from New Mexico saying, I'm dropping some stuff off, I'm not a California truck, I'm not going by California laws. They're like, yeah, then leave your shit right here at the border. They already stopped truckers from coming in. They lost a bunch of fleets of trucks hauling stuff away from the ports because the trucks, even though they're registered in Nevada, registered in Arizona, they are not CARB compliant for the state. It's like, look, I'm going to be driving in your state for 1 day. It's like, well, then you will be California compliant.
This doesn't sound good for California.
No, it's choking it. The problem is that there's always going to be a California. There's always going to be people here, and people will always tolerate overtaxed, overregulated. Some will. I mean, the people move out all the time. We're moving out. But there'll be people to stay because California is a beautiful state with great weather.
Yeah, but
so there'll always be, how much will you put up with to live in a beautiful state? That's the hook. And Gavin Newsom knows that. He's like, he'd tell you, anybody who wants to leave can leave. People are always going to want to live here. It's California. That's the hook.
Okay.
Now, will it come to a point, which it's getting close to, when people revolt and elect a Republican governor? Yeah, it happens all the time. About every 15, 18 years, we get a Republican governor for a term or two because they just can't stand it anymore. Happens all the time. So it can happen again.
All right, well.
Now you know what I know. I don't know if that's the answer you want. It's the best I can give you.
That's okay. It just, for now, we'll see what happens with it.
Gives you a little background and kind of where I think it could go, but it's tough. Trump, we've learned that Trump can sign every executive order he signs. The first thing they do is they go judge shopping and they go find a liberal judge that'll turn it down. Then it has to go to appeals. I mean, everything he does, every way he governs, They challenge it in court, and they make the courts decide if he can do that or not. Doesn't matter what he's doing.
All right.
So-
One more news thing.
Yeah.
Because we haven't really talked about this, but how do you feel about the Middle East thing that's happening right now? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, weird how all of a sudden the talks with Iran fell apart. They still have a meeting scheduled, I think, next week, but it fell apart. And all of a sudden yesterday, there was all of these cyber attacks from Iran all over. And, you know, it didn't hit us. It didn't even, I don't think it hit Israel. Israel's really good about cyber attack stuff. Some of the best software for that stuff comes from Israel. You can't just get past those guys. But there was attacks all over. A lot of our embassies were evacuated. A lot of other ones were put on alert. And I kept thinking, well, the only person, and then you said you read an article where there was a F-16s going from Israel.
They were seen over
Syria.
southern Syria.
And I'm like, okay, well, if they're going over southern Syria, the only thing heading away from Israel is Iraq and Iran. You know, I mean, that's what's over there. You just look at a map. So it concerns me that something's going on that I don't know what they can do. I think they're worried. If I had to guess, Iran is worried that during these talks, someone has told them, you better just comply with the talks. We better come to some agreement that Trump's happy with, because he's going to turn you, with the help of Israel, we're going to turn you into a fucking parking lot. I really think Trump has back-channeled that all of your facilities that are enriching uranium that could make a weapon, we've told you can't do it. The United Nations has told you can't do it. I really think Trump and Israel quietly, off the books, off the record, have said, we're going to level those buildings. You're not doing it. And if we find out you move the uranium, we're going to level that building too. You can't hide it from us forever. We got satellites that can detect uranium. We're going to you can't do it. And I think they're like, well, we're backed into a corner now. And I think they're going to, what else can they do? They can attack. Maybe not with a nuclear weapon, but they do have some stuff they could try to do. I mean, why not? If you realize you're losing your whole nuclear program, that we're either going to shut it down or we're going to bury it under rubble, why wouldn't Iran just go, well, fuck you guys, and we're going to attack? Why wouldn't they? What do they got to lose? I don't know. It just was a very odd situation yesterday, which
Why would Israel want, are they just trying to be the big guys going in there, or is this a beef with Israel and Iran? Like, it's
a beef with Israel, and Israel's going to do stuff without permission from us or the United Nations. They always have. They're like, every country around there wants to wipe them off the map. Iran's one of the biggest ones. Like, Iran says you should not exist. You do not have the right to exist. Your people should be exterminated. You don't have the right to be there. That's what they've said every day for the last, since probably before World War II, but definitely after World War II. You don't have the right to exist. So Israel's like, we're not waiting for confirmation. We're not waiting for them to fire the first nuclear missile. If we think they've got it, we're fucking going in there and leveling their whole country if we have to.
Oh,
they don't. Israel's 100% in self-preservation mode right now. They're like, thank you if you give us permission, but we're not asking.
Okay.
So.
All right.
That's the short version.
That's okay. We'll have to see what happens.
So, and I saw something from Cuomo come through that he thinks Trump is manufacturing this incident in L.A. It's what the headline said. It says Trump.
Oh, the Democrats are all
Trump's manufacturing a situation, and I'm like, okay, there's no way Chris could think that's true. He could be capitalizing on this situation, because I listened to the first part of his show. He's like, well, nobody's talking about tariffs anymore. That's true. Nobody's talking about the economy anymore. Well, that's true. But Trump didn't manufacture the situation. He's responding to it. So if I got to listen to the rest of Chris's show, but that may be something I need to call him on the phone and go, what the fuck, man?
Well, the mayor of LA went and said that Trump is the one that initiated the looting of the Nike store and the Apple store.
Yeah, he was down there pointing, going, right here.
I need a new Apple phone.
Yeah, right here.
I don't understand that.
You guys, you're missing the Apple store. It's right over here.
I don't understand that at all.
Now, this is all going to come down to a timeline where the Democrats are going to say, and this is my prediction, everybody who's listening, write this down. It's going to come down to them saying, well, Trump did all this. It was peaceful protesting before Trump got involved. So we're going to have visual pictures of fires and damage before he even said anything. Or it's not. They're going to say, no, it was peaceful up until Trump got involved. Then then it got violent. That's the way they're going to go with it. Just
So
saying.
dumb. All right, let's move along.
All right.
That's enough of that
You
new
brought
stuff.
it up.
I had to, you need to clarify some things with
All right.
me.
I don't mind answering questions.
So last week we didn't do a kid update. So
No, yeah.
do we have a kid update that you want to talk about?
Briggs, every time he's up there, he called me this morning. You know what his question was?
Can I stay?
No. He knows he can't stay. He's got to bring the trailer back.
Okay.
That's not a question. You know what a legitimate question was?
What?
When are we coming back? How soon?
Oh,
He doesn't want to be here anymore. He wants to be in Nevada. He wants to be in the Minden area. It was his question. Just when are we coming back? And I
me
said,
too.
I'll tell you, he is being, every challenge I've given him, and I've stepped it up a little bit bigger trailer, a little bit heavier trailer, a little bit tougher of a load, a little bit longer. He's done every one of them in increments. He stepped up and handled everything I've given
I'm
him.
so proud of him. He's
He's
really
doing well. And he goes, I'm not bringing my computer back again. And I go, why? He goes, well, it's just hard to move it and the monitor. Now, you know this kid a year ago, he'd have moved this entire studio to be able to play video games. He wouldn't have cared.
Yes, he would.
He'd have moved everything.
Yes, he would.
He's got his priorities are changing. He is not coming down here to sit on his computer and play games with all of his friends 12 hours a day. It's not on his radar. He's like, give me the list. Let's finish fixing the house. Let's finish packing stuff up. Let's go. I'm not even bringing my computer back, Dad. I just want to get it back on the road.
That's awesome.
That's his mentality.
Good. I'm glad.
So it's working out well. He did say that your brother, the Sun Valley Fox, didn't help at all unload. He just sat there in a chair with one of those hats, the hats with the built-in umbrella.
With an ice cold beer.
Ice cold beer in his hand.
And was pointing?
Yeah, you missed something. You dropped something.
You know what? He deserves to do that.
What?
Yes, my brother's worked hard.
I thought we were going to say, well, we're going to have to get up there and give a little talk to the Sun Valley Fox,
No.
sit him down and say, well, now, what happened there?
That might be you, but not me. I'm not going to tell my brother that.
They both did a good job. They had to go to the storage unit, the second one, and kind of unload it and reorganize it and refill it and then take the stuff from the trailer and put it in because there wasn't enough room. They had to really, they had to play Tetris in there to the max to get it to work, but they did it. A few things came back to the house. Even your brother said that kind of kicked his ass. And your brother's not a spring chicken anymore. And it was hot yesterday. It was not easy to be out there working in the sun for 4 or 5 hours when everything you're doing is lifting and pushing and turning and going.
Yep.
That's not easy, but they got it done. And I think St. Donna brought him home and brought the Sun Valley Fox home, put him in traction, and she waved a fan on him.
In an ice bath.
In an ice bath, waved a fan.
Lots of ibuprofen.
They sang warm kitty, soft kitty. Isn't it soft kitty to him?
Yes.
And sang a little soft kitty song to him.
Soft kitty,
Yeah, warm kitty. Just trying to.
little ball of fur.
Yeah, got him all squared away. Got his little lemonade for him, so I think he's good.
Okay, that's good.
But the Briggs is on his way back this morning. Got up early. The Sun Valley Fox and him got the trailer hooked up and fueled up and ready to go. So he's on his way back. If you're part of Discord, I gave a picture this morning. A Dayton, Nevada update just shows Briggs on his way, making progress.
Good.
Things are working out there. Everybody's asked about Jade. Jade is probably here right now in the house.
Yeah.
She's been over a few times helping you pack whenever you've asked her boxes or can I bring mom a coffee? Can I bring mom lunch? She's really plugging back in how she's supposed to be and being very helpful because I think she's starting to miss us already. Now it's coming down to crunch time and she's starting to feel like we're leaving.
Yes, it's coming.
And she has been helpful with you, hasn't she?
Yes, very helpful. I appreciate it. Yeah.
And I think the relationship with her and her boyfriend has gotten better. They haven't been fighting. The only fight that they got into was when I gave them that refrigerator and they took it to Briggs took it over there and then they set it up and it's working perfectly. Cleaned it all out.
Oh, she's ecstatic about it.
Yeah. And because it's been 3 years they've had no fridge in their house.
That's just insane.
3 years they had a little tiny refrigerator that had just the freezer part working in one corner. And she goes, "It's all I have is I could put frozen things in one corner of part of the freezer, and that was it." And it was a little tiny refrigerator.
That's ridiculous.
So now she's got a full one. It's
Oh,
nice
yeah, we
and
went
it's
to
clean.
the grocery store. She took me to the grocery store, and she was just so excited about filling her refrigerator and all the neat things that she's going to have. And I said, "Oh, yeah, it's a game changer."
Oh, she's just thrilled. But then she turns to him. This is where the fight came in. She goes, "I can't believe you made me wait 3 years to get a refrigerator, and you didn't even get it. My dad had to give us one."
Ouch.
So I think, but I think this pushes her along. Like, I think she's looking around. She goes, "Hey, the dryer needs to get fixed right now. I'm not waiting 3 years for my dad to do it. You fixed it." I mean, she's now that she's had some big thing change in her life, she realizes, you know what, things can improve around here.
Yes, they can.
Get off your ass and just do them. So a little bit of an argument there, but
we'll see. Once we move,
pushing her along, doing well. I think so.
What's happening? All right. Well, let's round this off with a car story this week because you haven't had one.
No, I had a couple. They weren't direct car stories per se. I was going to bring up something that, well, I have one story that was related to me, but did you know that, nowadays most cars have GPS and Google Maps and built-in stuff. Did you know that the Japanese were working on, I think this was in the late 90s, they're working on a computer system that could tell you where you were, because there was at that time, the internet just was barely even in its infancy. But they were developing a computer that could tell you how far you traveled and where you were.
Oh.
Because it was counting how many times the tire had rotated, how many times you turned right, turned left. If you went straight ahead 1,000 rotations of the tire and you turned right 3 rotations of the tire and went straight 500 rotations of the tire, they'd say, well, you're 2 blocks away from your house. I mean, they were trying to figure out a way to calculate where you were.
Interesting.
It didn't pan out, but they spent a lot of money trying. That was trying to figure out GPS before GPS. But the problem is that what if you go into a parking lot at a store? It doesn't know you're in a parking lot. It just thinks you went west, 50 feet. It doesn't know you're in a parking lot turning around and coming back. So a lot of calculations with that,
Gotcha.
especially if you're going up and down the aisles of a parking lot looking for a place to park. The computer's still counting, like, where the fuck are we going?
Gotcha.
Hey,
at least they were trying, though.
50 rotations of the tire up, 50 rotations back, 50 rotations up. Find a place to park, damn it. So that was one thing. Another one was they just came out. Japanese automaker Nissan came out with fragrances, colognes you can wear.
What?
Yeah. One's called Smell My Dust. This is true. You can go buy this now. It's in a purple container.
Wait. So you smell or your car smells?
No, you smell. It's cologne for you. It's for the person, not for the car.
Nissan.
Yeah. They have a few of them out there.
What?
And one of them, the one called Smell My Dust, apparently is a combination of actual tire dust and some like raspberry cologne flavor or something.
Why would you want to smell like that?
I don't know, but I was reading the reviews on it. Everybody who's tried it says you smell like a rubber tire.
Why would you want? What?
I don't know. I mean, you have to be a pretty dedicated gearhead to go, hang on, I need to smell like Michelin.
I don't know. For 35 plus years, you smelled like
gear oil,
and grease.
Yeah, and I got it for free. I didn't have to go buy it in a bottle.
Oh my gosh.
But no, seriously, they do that. WD-40 did that a while back. They have like a little fragrance you can smell like WD-40.
I don't understand.
And now Nissan says you can smell like rubber tires.
It's got to be for mechanics. It's got to be for mechanics.
Hang on, I don't smell like a Michelin radial yet. I want to go out to dinner smelling like a Michelin radial tire.
Oh God, that's just
The
crazy.
last one was, and it was a story. This is a really short story. This is a true story. It happened. I was working in Lancaster at a company called Circulating Air, and I was it's a pretty big air conditioning and heating company. Did a lot of installations and conversions. And so they had a rather big fleet of trucks at the time, and I was in charge of that fleet of trucks. And when I say in charge of it, I was in charge of running the entire department and all the mechanics.
Wow.
To which there was one, me.
I was going to go, wow, you went up in the world.
Yeah, I did. And so,
you were your own boss.
I was my own boss. And there was one of the vehicles that I'd bought a used engine for. It was a little Nissan pickup, but one of the estimators liked it, and the boss said, well, just buy, get an engine and come in and set an engine, a little 4-cylinder engine. I want to say it was like an 83 or an 84 Nissan. And I got done, put it in, filled it up with oil, did the stuff, and started the engine, warmed it up, turned off the key, and it wouldn't shut off.
Okay.
Now, the engine before would run. It just had a knock in the engine, knock, knock, knock. But you could turn it on, shut it off, turn it on, shut it off. Put in the new engine, just set it in there, hooked everything up, and the engine stayed running. The key would not shut it off. And
That's a problem.
You can disconnect the battery, engine stays running because the alternator will keep charging up all the electrical and keep everything going.
Oh, weird.
So I ended up having to take a broomstick and pulling the coil wire out of the distributor because it's an old engine that had a distributor. So then it shut off quit firing the spark plugs.
Oh my gosh.
And then I had to figure out what was going on, and I could not. This is still internet's in its infancy. You have to go get paper wiring schematics and figure things out, and it took me a couple of days because I could not figure out why. I did everything right. There were 2 connectors on the fender well as you're setting the engine in with the wiring harness. You take the wiring harness and take it off the old engine, lay it on the new engine, set the new engine, and you just plug everything in. Just plug it, and away you go. It's still that way today. And at the time, they didn't make every connector unique. They didn't make every connector different. In other words, if I had a plug with 3 wires, I had maybe have 4 choices. Well, which one does it go in?
Okay.
Now they shape them all differently.
Okay.
You couldn't mix them up.
It's idiot-proof
They're
now.
idiot-proof now. They're
Gotcha.
shaped differently and they're colored differently. Orange goes to orange, yellow to yellow.
Gotcha.
And even if you got 6 black ones, they're all shaped differently. You can't plug them in wrong.
Okay.
But back then, they hadn't thought of that yet. Most of them were unique, but I found 4 connectors that were interchangeable, 2 to 2.
Goodness.
And they were right next to each other, and they were both black. And I never, I didn't even look at the wires because they were in the harness. It's not like you can see, this one's got a red wire and the other one's got a blue wire. No,
Right.
no. And it took me forever to backtrack this whole system to find out why is the coil still getting power even after the key's off, because the schematic, nothing was making sense because these 2 things were sending power where it wasn't supposed to be. And it took me a day and a half to figure these 2 wires, and I took them apart, switched the 2 plugs, and it worked perfectly. Man, I never forgot that lesson. I was like, nope.
That's all it was.
I was all it was. So now from then on, and I ran into it a few more times in my career. From then on, when I went to plug anything together, I just quickly looked at the color wires and make sure if I've got a red, blue, and a pink, I'm plugging it into a red, blue, and a pink.
Gotcha.
Just to make sure,
Lesson learned.
Out of habit, just to make sure. Very rare that happens even back then, but it did happen.
Huh. Interesting.
And so, just one little mistake and we burned up a day and a half where, of course, then the boss is coming down. Well, we can't figure out how to shut that fucking thing off. I don't know. I feel like I want to quit being a mechanic and go be a plumber or something because I can't. This is beyond me. But
well.
anyway, so there you go. A couple little quick stories for you. Got the kid update. Got the car story update. I haven't drawn anything on the shower door, so you can't complain. Everything's clean there. And is there anything else we didn't cover that we were going to? You talked
Not
about
that
everything?
I can think of.
How long have we been on?
58 minutes.
No. 1 hour and 1 minute. And you know what? 1 hour and 1 minute, and you didn't yawn.
I didn't.
And you've had no coffee.
And no coffee.
You just had some weird chai tea thing or something.
Yeah, I had tea this morning.
And here we are. No yawns. If the over-under had been 6, everybody over would have got burned.
Yeah, well, I'm good today.
I do want to announce that, we haven't had the studio cam on in forever because the Briggs took one of the computers up to Minden, and then we kind of plugged it into the other one, but you got to manually turn it on all the time. You can't leave it running. So I got to say 2 things.
What's that?
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I submit to you, I have to be the evidence that genx mom did, in fact, live up to her promise, took off all of her clothes and ran around 3 laps in the studio, buck-ass naked. However, there's no footage because the camera wasn't on because it's not hooked up to the correct. So I do apologize for those of you that missed it. It was quite a show, but your debt is paid.
Thank you.
You did a good job.
I appreciate that.
Thank you very much. Speaking for all men, just knowing that you lived up to it. We appreciate that.
Okay, cool.
Are we done for today?
I think we're done for today.
When you say goodbye, this is the last time you're saying goodbye from the KGXT studios on the podcast.
All right.
This is it.
Goodbye, Gracie.
The next time, sweetheart, the next time you're on the butt, it's going to be the butt from the loop.
That's okay. Goodbye, Gracie.
And she said goodbye, Gracie. She said goodnight. That means she's out. That means we're out too. Thank you guys for listening in. Thank you guys for tuning in. Not sure where you're paying attention to us from. AM, FM, Sirius XM, or perhaps you listen on the Armed Service Radio Network. Remember 2 things in life. Number 1, wherever you go, there you are. And number 2, I'll catch you guys on the flip side.
Flip side.
I'm out.
Have a good day, everyone.